Good evening. Sorry that I could not be there tonight. I am tracked out this week and had made some plans with my family. So I wanted to take this opportunity to make sure that I introduced you to the compacted class, but at the same time also be able to provide this opportunity for anybody not able to make it. So a video works out well. I wanted you to see my face. After this, I'm going to actually walk you through the two documents that I am providing for you. Feel free at any point to email me any questions, and I will be sure to be in contact with you if I have any concerns about your student's placement or progress in our compacted class. So there are two documents that I am providing. I'm going to make sure that I can see what you're seeing. Okay. So this is going to be the first one. I wanted to just spell out exactly what you would expect to see in each of the math classes. So right now, the top table, the 6th grade, these are the possible 6th grade classes you could take. In 7th grade, these are the possible 7th grade classes, and then so forth. And then across the rows, you could see what the continuum is if you start in this class. So right now, your students are placed in the 6 plus 7 plus class. So this is double accelerated from the normal 6th grade math course. Next year, if your students stay on this path, they will take Math 1 as a 7th grader, and that is a high school level course. They will go to the 8th grade math teacher for their track, and they will take a face-to-face class with their 8th grade peers, and it'll be the Math 1 course. As an 8th grader, they will take Math 2. As of now, I have been a supervisor for the Math 2 class. It is also an online course offered through North Carolina Virtual Public School. So it looks different than this online course will, but again, it is not going to be a face-to-face class. So that's something to think about, having two online courses in 6th grade and 8th grade in their middle school career. And then as a 9th grader, they would go take Math 3. With a high school teacher at the high school. So it's just important to kind of always keep that at the back of your mind, because most high schools do not allow students to double accelerate, meaning take two classes in 1 year. So your student could potentially eventually run out of math courses in high school. That's not to say that they shouldn't take compacted this year, but I just want you to remind yourselves that if this class, this compacted class, just is not the style your student likes to learn from, meaning the online, it's not worth the push just to kind of get through, especially if they don't like online. They may be doing it again. And if there's a lot of anxiety or stress, it's not worth it. There would still be the advanced course if you went down to 6 plus. It's still 1 year accelerated. They would take 7 plus next year with their 7th grade peers. They would take Math 1, the high school course, as an 8th grader, and then they would take Math 2. So this is just something to kind of keep in mind as you are, working through the next couple weeks, making sure that everybody's in the right place. Down here is what's happening within each of the math courses. So this would be 6th grade content, 7th grade content, 8th grade content, Math 1. If they are in 6 plus as a 6th grader, 6 plus covers all the 6th grade content, half the 7th. 7 plus covers the other half of 7th and half of 8th. And then Math 1 is the other half of Math 8 and all of the Math 1 standards. Compacted's intent is to cover all of 6th, 7th, and half of 8th. So that's 2.5 years. There's no way to teach 2.5 years of math really in 1 year. So compacted is set up where students, the expectation is there that students know the 6th grade content. So really, anything that they're doing online is going to be 7th and 8th grade material, where I'm going to be checking in to make sure the 6th grade content is pretty solid. And then the Math 1 class in middle school is the other half of 8th, and then Math 1. So that's just something to kind of keep at your fingertips, but it's not something that I will reference too often. This green sheet that I am leaving is just a simplified version of the first day's information that I sent home. So a lot of this is repetition with some of the less important stuff pulled out. I'm actually going to go to the back first. and look at the table, because I think this kind of will set the stage for what all the other kind of policies and procedures are. So these are all of the units that would be covered by a 6+ student and a compacted student. So the first unit of the year, every 6+ and compacted student is going to take or complete Unit 1, which is area and surface area. It's taught out of a 6th grade workbook, and I've already worked through it with 3 of the tracks, and then right now I'm working through it with the track 4 students. 6+ students upstairs are also doing this unit. Starting Unit 2, if you were in 6+, you would take Introducing Ratios. That would be the second workbook. It is the expectation that compact students are familiar and able to work with ratios, that they don't need the entire unit. So what that means is they're going to take a pretest. I want to know, do they know that material? If they do, they will then get right online and they'll start their first online unit, which is 7+ material, and it's covering exponents, integers, and expressions. And there really should be a comma right there because we're not doing integers as exponents. Not yet, anyway. And then again, the third unit, if they were upstairs, they would be taking unit rates and percentages as a pretest, and then, or they would be doing that upstairs. In compacted, they're taking the pretest. If they compact out, they would take the online geometry unit, which is 7th grade material. Going into quarter 4, I'm not going to read through all of them, but if there is no bolded unit, that is something that we will do together. If there is a bolded unit, there will be a pretest. So going back to the front, so these pretests, what I am doing, I am not counting them as a grade. They do have to earn a 70 or above in order to compact out of that unit, that 6th grade unit, and get online. I'm putting them in PowerSchool, but I'm not counting them as a percentage. I just want you to have that information so you could see how they're doing. In order to have some 6th grade grades, what I have provided each student with is a problem set. So track 1 got their problem set the 2nd week of school. It was due the 3rd week of school, and it covered the material that was going to be on the first pretest. So the problem set is given in advance of the pretest, and it just gives them time to kind of, chew through some of the material and make sure they know what to expect. And the problem sets will count as a grade in the grade book. They can get help from me, they can get help from you. So they do their problem set, they have 2 to 3 weeks to complete that at home, they work on it on their own time, and they can ask questions. Then they took their pretest after they turned in their problem set and we went over it. If they get a 70 or above on their pretest, that's compacting out. And then they go ahead and work on their online module. If they do not earn a 70 or above, like let's say they earn a 50, a 40, I've seen it, what that means is they don't know the 6th grade curriculum well enough to do well on the 7th grade material, which is going to be online. So what I'm going to do is a little different than what the county has suggested. In the past, I've always sent the students up to the 6+ classroom, and they have to sit through that unit that they didn't pretest out of. I found that was overwhelming for students because they were having to do 2 things. They were having to complete an online unit as well as the unit upstairs. And a lot of times it was just small standards that they didn't understand that I could fill in the gaps much quicker. They didn't need the whole unit. So the first time that they don't compact out, I'll sit with them whenever there's a good time, and we'll fill in any gaps in that foundational material. Which means they may have to work at home on the online unit in order to stay on pace. If they're not compacting out of 2 units in a row, so that means they got less than a 70 on 2 pretests, then I probably will have you come in and we will sit down as a team. So you, me, the student, preferably, and then whoever else. Sometimes it might be a counselor or assistant principal. Not meant to be a scary situation, but just really make sure that we are serving really your student well, and we just don't want to overwhelm students. So that would kind of be our thought process. Is if you don't compact out 2 units in a row, it's just important for us to meet as a team. And then I think that's about it in terms of those. So just to kind of make sure you understand, they're going to have a problem set. The problem set standards, or what the questions are about, will mirror what's going to be on the upcoming pretest. So they'll have an opportunity to view the type of content. They'll take the pretest. If they compact out, they go ahead and get online. If they don't compact out, we'll work together, and then they'll still be working online. Each student will receive each quarter a unit packet for the online materials, so they can kind of work at their own pace. I will provide a calendar so they know about when they should be taking a quiz or a test. Those always happen in class, quizzes and tests, but they can work on the packet, and then the formative quick checks that are in their packet they can do anytime they want. They do turn it in to me. I grade it for accuracy, but it doesn't go in my grade book. It's just a kind of a roadblock. Are we understanding the material or not? And then I do have the daily materials. They don't need a ton for my room. A binder is crucial. They can share it with my class and another class, but they do need to have a 3-ring binder, and I would suggest earbuds or a headphone. I know a lot of parents have been asking about a calculator. You are more than welcome to purchase this calculator. I would highly suggest, if you are going to buy one, that you would buy the TI-84CE, 84 plus CE. So it's LED screen, it's color, which is really cool. Once you get into graphing equations, you can see the different graphs just based on their color. This is not the end-all be-all. If you have somebody that passed along a non-color one, your student will be fine. These calculators will take them through college. So my suggestion is if you find a great deal, go ahead and get it. Keep it at home this year, because once they hit Math 1, they definitely are going to want one, but they do not have to have one this year. I have calculators in the classroom for them, and most of the material that we're doing they could do on even your phone calculator or scientific calculator, and they don't need to worry too much about having the graphing functions. But like I said, Staples and Target do typically sell these in August at a pretty decent price, but it's still expensive, so don't hesitate to hold off on purchasing that for a year. That is about all that I can think of. I know it's confusing, and I'm glad you have it in video so you can watch it back. I promise that I will be in communication with you if there are concerns, and I would expect the same from you. Sorry about that. Feel free to email me if you're having concerns or want to sit and meet. My email is emuse2@wcpss.net. There is an emuse. It's my sister-in-law. She usually forwards me messages. So if you don't hear back from me and you sent it to her, it might just take an extra couple of days. But if you don't hear back from me and you did email me the proper email address, just shoot me another email. I'm usually really good about it, but sometimes things get overlooked, and I apologize in advance if that happens. But I look forward to working with your students. So far, they have been an absolute joy, and I just love how eager they are. So, yeah, please let me know if you have any questions, and I am sorry I could not be there tonight. I hope you have a good night. Thank you. Bye.